Hello everyone, this is part 3 in the Plants vs. Zombies Fusion modding tutorial series. Today we'll be going over something that a lot of people have been asking for, and that is the adding custom plants part. So we're going to be adding 2 custom plants today, and I hope this tutorial will show how you can add your own custom plants. This is actually going to take a bit more of knowledge of Unity and coding, specifically in C#. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, this might not be a thing you want to go into, but it's going to be very hands-on. So just know that it's going to take a bit of knowledge of Unity, and it's going to take a bit of knowledge of coding, because beforehand it was just like I gave you a template and you can like change values, and it's pretty simple. But now it's going to be a bit more. You're going to have to know what you want to code, you're going to have to know what to code, and how to like manipulate values to in your own kind of sense. You can learn how to code. I'm not going to like go into specifics on what you can do, what you can't do, but yeah, just know that for the coding part of this tutorial, it's going to be a lot more hands-on, and you're going to need a lot more experience to do more of the cool stuff, right? But anyways, let's get into what programs we need for this tutorial. The first thing you're going to need is another sort of mod. In this case, we're going to be using it sort of as a tool, but it's a mod that was created by Infinite75, I believe that's their name. And basically, this will allow us to use sort of like a basis of code to add custom plants to the game. It's obviously not going to offer everything, like you can't just type one line of code and boom, you have a new plant, but this is going to help us a lot in just simplifying a lot of the more tedious code. So in the description, you're going to find a GitHub repository with this file, plants extra 1.2. This actually includes a lot of custom plants, so if you want to use pre-existing custom plants, these are compatible with Melon Loader. But the one file in particular we want from this is the customizedlib.melonloader.dll file, right? This is basically the library that has all of the stuff that we're going to be using. Again, credit to Infinite75 for creating this. If they didn't make this, I'm pretty sure I would not be making this tutorial right now, but yeah, we're going to be using this for this tutorial, right? And we're going to put this in our mods folder in a second, but I just want to get through the other programs first. I'm going to skip this real quick. I'm just going to go to this. You're going to need Unity, like the actual program that was made, the actual game engine that was used to make Plants vs. Zombies Fusion. So you're going to have to install Unity Hub, which shouldn't be that hard. It's pretty simple. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty simple. You just go through this, and once you have Unity Hub installed, just give it a second to load. Yeah. You're going to want to install Unity 2022.3.20 F1, right? And I'll leave a link in the description to where you can install this, but yeah, when you go to that link, you'll see like an install button, and it'll open up Unity Hub. But you're gonna need this specific Unity version, just for this tutorial. I'm not sure if newer Unity versions work or not, but I know that this is like the minimum version, because this was the version that the game is actually made with. So we're gonna be using this specifically, and that's it for Unity right now. And then you're going to need one last program, and that is called Asset Ripper. This basically makes it so that we can decompile a sort of base project of the game. It has all of the assets stuff in it, but for scripts and stuff, it doesn't have all like the code and stuff. So obviously you can't just like decompile the game and recompile it and do it directly from there. But this gives us a bit more insight onto how this program is actually structured. And it gives us all of the assets in one place. So we can use this later on, because this is going to help us recreate what we call asset bundles, and that's how we load in the custom assets for Plants vs. Zombies Fusion, right? So I'm just going to extract this into a folder. Give that a second. All right. And now it should be right here. And now once we have all of these, we can start we can just get into the tutorial, right? So firstly, I'm just going to put this into my mods folder. So again, go to your game files, go to the mods folder, and just drag this in. There we go. And then we already installed Asset Ripper, and I showed how to use Unity Hub. So now we're going to decompile the original game with Asset Ripper, right? And again, this is not a full decompilation, it's just going to give us all the assets in the game. So yeah, ignore the warning. So when you do open Asset Ripper, you're going to get this window, but it's also going to open something in your browser, and it's going to open this page right here. And what you want to do when you get to this page is you're going to want to hit File, Open File. Then you'll get like this window right here. You might have to click on it, it might not show up. And what you're going to do is you're going to navigate to Plants vs. Zombies, the Plants vs. Zombies Fusion English download. You're going to go to the data folder, and you're going to select data.unity3d. Make sure this isn't like a modded version of it. If you did modify it, I recommend that you make a backup, or at least go back and reinstall the game, but make sure that this isn't like a modded version. And just open this, wait for that to load. Alright, so once that is loaded, we're going to click View Loaded Files, and we're going to make sure that this like loaded everything, right? So it loaded all of this, and you can see that we have a bunch of stuff, right? So that we know that it loaded everything. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back so that this just doesn't load. So yeah, and now that it's loaded, we're going to click Export, and we're going to click Export All Files, right? And now you're going to select a folder where you want all of this to be exported into. Make sure that it's a new empty folder, so it's going to open up this window again. Make sure that you put it into a completely new folder that doesn't have anything in it, because it's going to erase whatever in that folder. So we'll just call this tutorial project. And I'm just going to select that folder, and then click Export Unity Project. And this might take a while, I'm not sure. Alright, so when this screen pops up, when it's done loading, this loading icon up here is done, and you just see this screen again, you know that the project has been exported. So we can close this out now. You can also close this window out. And if we go to the tutorial project folder right here, we'll see that we have an exported project. You can go to Assets, and you'll see we have a bunch of folders, and these have a bunch of things about the game. So, for example, this has a bunch of textures. Not sure all this. Oh yeah, this is a bunch of stuff. But yeah, so the first thing that we want from this is we want to go into the resources folder, and then we're going to want to look for whatever we're trying to modify. In this case, we're modifying plants. We're going to add a custom plant, so we want the plants, right? And we're going to look for the folder of the plant that we want to modify. So for this tutorial, I'm going to go over two examples. I'm going to be modifying pea shooter, or I'm going to make a custom pea shooter, and then I'm going to make a custom sunflower, right? So these two, I'm just going to copy them and put them in a new folder. So I'll just make a new folder. I'll title this not tutorial assets, tutorial plants, right? And I'm just gonna paste these both in here. So I don't know what this is, but yeah. So you'll see that we have a bunch of these different asset files, and these are basically what the game actually loads when in Unity. So we're going to be using this in our own Unity project to edit the plant and then make a custom asset bundle and then load that in-game to make our custom plant. So I hope that makes sense. And then for sunflower, again, you can see this. So yeah, so now that we have our exported files and we have what we want to edit, we're going to go into Unity and we're going to make a new project. So, oh, I opened the wrong thing. Sorry. That'll be it. Unity Hub. And we're just gonna make a new project. Make sure you select the version to be the version that we installed, 22.3.20 F1. We can set this to 2D or 3D. I don't think it really matters because the asset bundle won't change that much, but I'm just gonna use 3D. And then I'm gonna name this tutorial, because why not, right? And we're just gonna wait for this to create. Alright, so once the project has been created, what we're gonna do is, I'm not sure what this is, but I don't know what this is, but anyways, Once the project has been created, we're going to open this. We're going to right click and hit Show in Explorer so we can get this files, or the files in folder form. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag in, ignore this, we're going to drag in the two folders, or whatever folder you got of the plant that you want to edit, and we're going to drag them into our assets folder, right? And we're going to let Unity import that. So now we see that we have all the assets for Pea Shooter right here. You know, we have all the sprites and stuff. And then right here we have all the stuff for Sunflower. So I'm going to go through each of these and I'm going to show you guys how to actually edit what we'll see in game. So I'm going to do Pea Shooter first. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Pea Shooter prefab asset, right? So I'm going to open this up. And you'll see that it's just going to be a pink mess. It's not going to like show anything. And the reason for that is because if we go through and look at some of these, oh, I forgot to mention something. In this first object right here in Pea Shooter prefab, you'll see like a missing script at the bottom right here. If you scroll down, just click the three dots and remove this. It's not important for what we're going to be doing, but this just makes us that we don't have run into any issues later on. But the reason that it's all pink is because if we look at each of these little objects right here, we'll see that it's missing a material, right? So I'm just going to go through, I'm going to select each of these objects. And and where it says missing material, I'm going to click this circle. And I'm going to select sprites default, right? It's going to be this white square, and it's just going to be named sprites default, right? So now we see, okay, we have our Pea Shooter. It should show from both sides, yeah, okay. Now the thing is, we want to change what actually appears here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of the pre-existing texture files right here, so like all of these pre-existing sprites. Just right click and delete. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use custom sprites. So instead of editing the sprite sheet like we did in the last tutorial, I'm going to be editing these sprites directly, right? And to get all those sprites, we're going to be using Asset Studio, like we did in the last tutorial. So I'll open that up. And I'll open up the same PVZ Fusion English data.unity3d file. And I'm going to sort by container, and then I'm going to filter type by sprite. So now we see that we only have sprites here. And the reason I filtered by container is that we can go and we can look for the same folder that we went into with the resources folder. So if I bring that up right here, if I go into tutorial project, I go to exporter project, assets, resources. If I go look at the same sort of folder structure, so I go to plants, and then I go to like sunflower, I see all of these asset files, right? So if I go here and I go to plants, and I go to, and I look for sunflower, this should be right around here. Yeah, right here, right? I see that all of the sprites here, this is for money sunflower, but this is just for the regular sunflower. See all of the sprites right? So I'm just going to select all of these and export them somewhere. And the same thing goes for Pea Shooter, you know, plants / Pea Shooter. I'm just going to export them somewhere and edit them, right? And you can edit them whatever you want. And also I'm going to show you how to add like an extra sprite in the game, but this is just for editing like the pre-existing sprites, right? Now I've already done that and I have the assets somewhere, so I'm just going to drag those in. So once you have done, once you have finished editing everything, what we can do is we can drag in the sprites that we've edited into here, right? So right here I have a bunch of Pea Shooter assets. Oh, I forgot to mention, there will also be like a preview image sort of thing of like the full plant. You can delete this as well. And then we can just drag all of these in, right? Now you'll see that they're not exactly what we want. You'll see that they all have this black background. So what you can do is just select each and every one of these. Oh god, I no idea what I just did. Let me delete these. I think it just duplicated everything. But yeah. So we're just gonna select each and every one of these. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this top option from default, where it says texture type, we're gonna change it from default just sprite, 2D, and UI, right? And hit apply. And we can see that now it's all like, it's all sprites, it's all transparent, and we can put these back into our prefab right here, right? So I'm just gonna go through each of these, oh wait, shadow, oh crap. Did I delete the shadow thing? Oh well. We can grab that from our assets folder. Yeah, plant shadow. I forgot to mention, don't delete the shadow file. If you do delete it, just you can go back in here and paste it back in. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong thing, aren't I? Or no. Wait, is plant shadow in here? Oh, I see what happened. Oh, I'm completely stupid. Oh well. Zero project assets, resources. Sorry for the little mess up here, but yeah, plant shadow. So you can go back to the exported project and you can get plant shadow back. I'm gonna paste that in here. Or does it need the no, oh, I should probably just grab it from here. Plant shadow, right? Export this. Just back into the tutorial assets folder right here. Sprite and plant shadow, right? And then I'll import this as a sprite. Sorry for the mess up there. Forgot to mention, don't, or I guess you should delete that and just put in the original plant, or whatever plant shadow you want to use. I just got it from the pshooter file again. So now, now that that's out of the way, I'm going to put all of these files back into here, right? So they'll be named similarly to what they're named here. So if I go to shoot and I just I go to where it says missing sprite, this is how we're going to replace each sprite. And I'll go shoot. Oh well, it's gonna do pshooter, right? But if I do like pshooter underscore shoot, no, well, it's gonna be this, right? Shoot is gonna be the mount, right? I picked a bad example right there, right? But for pshooter head, as you can see, it's gonna be pshooter head right here, and then blink is going to be this, blink 1, and then this is going to be blink 2. And you're just going to go through each of these. So this is pshooter, oh, that's not the right thing. Which one is pshooter sprout? This is pshooter sprout, right? You're going to keep going, you're going to go through each of these. So front leaf tip, you can just also do this, front leaf tip, or front leaf left tip. And you can just put in each of these as you want, so it's gonna be right tip. I cannot type, I don't know why, but it's gonna be front leaf. This one's gonna be stock top. It's gonna be stock bottom. This is going to be back leaf right tip. This is left tip. Where is right tip? Let me just make sure that I re-import this. Yeah, okay. This is, I don't know, but right tip. Is that is definitely not the right. That's front leaf right tip. I am messing so many things up. Sorry, but yeah, this is just. Is it not importing back leaf right tip? Am I confusing something here? Oh wait, I didn't import it as a sprite. That's probably why. Sorry. Yeah, this is just the this is the tedious process, just getting everything in. That's still not the right. No, that's the right thing. Right. Left tip. Oh my god. Right. That doesn't look right. No idea why this is messed up, but oh, because there's one last thing. Yeah, okay. So then we'll put in sprite shadow, or the plant shadow right here. So yeah, now that we've recreated the pea shooter, we can add new things if we want. So for example, if I go here, if I do this, I can create a new sprite. Let me see where that would be. Where are these planes? Not sure, but we can create, I'll just create an empty, I'll see what we can do. So I'll name this, I don't know, extra, right? And we can add a sprite render. And then we can make this a bit bigger, so. And we can just add, like, I don't know, the pea shooter head again, right? So if I do this, oh, that's way too big. Let's make this one. And then, yeah, you see we can, like, add this on. And then if you want, you can add, like, the, create another empty, extra, shoot. And, again, sprite render. And you can move that to where you want it to go, right? And that's just an example. You can also use any custom sprites you want to make. So if you want to add like something else to the plant, like something on extra, you can do that. For this, I'm not going to use these, but yeah, you can just use like anything, like any extra sprite that you want to use. But the main thing is that you're probably going to want to recreate like the plant itself, and then you edit whatever sprites you want to edit, right? And just to make this look a bit better, I'm going to add a little particle system, right? Just like, yeah, so not exactly like this. I don't want it to be going backwards, so this is just something that you don't have to do this. I'm just going to do this because why not? Yeah, I'll just edit this and I'll be right back. Alright, so if I go here, as you can see, I just added a bit of particles. This is just to make the plant like look a bit more custom than just a color change. But then you're just going to want to click Control S or like press Control S to save that. And this is going to be our pea shooter prefab, right? And one other thing is we're going to want to go to the pea shooter preview prefab. This one, pea shooter preview prefab. And we're going to want to set this to the prefab, or the, sorry, I'm messing up my words, the preview image that we made. This looks very low quality, I'm not sure why, but I'm pretty sure that's just an importing error. Yeah, I'm not sure why this one looks so like compressed, but if you import your asset correctly, it shouldn't do this. Yeah, is it anything in here? I'm pretty sure it's not, but yeah. Let me see, can I actually fix that, or is this just a something? Yeah, I'm not sure, but if you import this normally, it shouldn't be like as compressed as this is. I'm not sure why it's so compressed, but yeah. So now that we've done the pea shooter, I'm not sure. Oh, this is just a sprite. We can delete this. But yeah, so now that we've done the pea shooter, I'm actually going to go and do the sunflower now. So it's going to be the same process. We're going to go into sunflower prefab. We're going to set everything that has a material. So if like this screen kind of goes away, just deselect whatever you selected and select everything that does have. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm doing this in the wrong order. Just remember to remove the script and then go in, select anything that has a material. Again, if it disappears, deselect that. So what's the different material? So then we're gonna make all of these sprites default. So now we have a sunflower. Alright. So I'm not sure what this is back here, but anyways, then you can delete all the sprites that you don't need. So I'm just gonna do that. Yeah. And then I'm gonna put in the sprites that I've made for the sunflower. So all of these. make sure that these are all classified as a sprite, not GUI sprite, right? And then we can go back in and re-input everything, right? So sunflower head, sunflower head, yeah, right, flowers. I'm assuming that's this, yeah. No double petals, front leaf, left tip. I'm actually just gonna see if I can find them right here. Front leaf, left tip, so this one is gonna go right here. This is the right tip. The front leaf is this, I believe, yeah. Stock top is gonna be stock bottom. This is stock top. Stock bottom. This is gonna be left tip, or no, it's gonna be, this is right tip, this is left tip. This is back leaf, and then shadow, I'll grab this from the feature file. Shadow. Oh, that is not right. So yeah. So now we have our sunflower, and I'm gonna copy what I did with the pea shooter, and I'll copy over the little particle system I have. We'll just copy that from sunflower over to here. That's the wrong thing. Right. So now the sunflower also has a little bit of a particle system. Move this up a bit. So now if I just like select this, just play. Okay, that looks good. I think I'm gonna move this forward a bit. Okay, that looks fine. But yeah. So again, that's not required. I'm just doing that so to add a little bit of flair to that. So I'm gonna delete this because I don't really need it. And now I'm gonna do the same thing for the preview. You know, just go here, make sure that this is sprite's default. If it says missing, make sure it's sprite's default, and then change the sprite to your preview image. So as you can see, like this one, I'm not sure what happened with the pea shooter, but this one doesn't have like the weird compression issue. So yeah, now that we have both of our plants, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these into asset bundles and build those asset bundles, right? So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna click the pea shooter folder, and I'm going to go down to the bottom right where it says asset bundle, right? And where it says none, I'm gonna click none and click new, and I'm just gonna call this hyper P, right? That's what I'm gonna call this, because I'm gonna just make it shoot really fast. And then for sunflower, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm just gonna call this super sunflower, right? Because I'm gonna make it do something, right? Like make it produce really fast, or produce a lot of sun, right? So now that I've made both of these, there's one last thing we need to install. I didn't mention this beforehand because it made more sense to put it right here. But what we're gonna do is we're going to click edit, or not edit, where is it? Windows Package Manager, sorry. And then we're gonna click this plus button up here. We're gonna click add package from git URL, and in the description there will be a URL that is for the asset bundle browser, and that basically allows us to look at asset bundles and build them without building the entire game. So I'm just gonna grab that real quick. All right, so it should look something like this. I think I'll put it as a last link in the description where I put all of the links for what you need, and just click add and wait for that to install. All right, so once that's installed, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Windows, or no, edit, where is it? Yeah, no, it should be in Windows and then something here. Is this error? Hold on. Okay, so apparently that issue, it just like happens randomly when you're creating a project. To fix it, just right click in this folder section and click re-import all. I'm not going to do that, but it's just going to reopen the Unity project and load everything back in. So now if we go to Windows, yeah, Asset Bundle Browser is right here. And it's going to open up this little window, and you'll see that we have Hyper-P and Super Sunflower. So I have all of these, and then I have all of these like files. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to this build tab, and we're going to make sure that this is standalone Windows, and we're just going to click build, right? And we're just going to let this build all of the bundles. Just let that run. Alright, so once it's done, we can go here, we can right click this and go show in Explorer, and a new folder will pop up called asset bundles. And we're going to go into this and go into standalone Windows, and boom, we can see that we have Hyper-P and we have Super Sunflower, right? So these are the two files that we're going to use to load in the assets for our custom plan, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click both of these and I'm going to copy them. And for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to put them in the mods folder of our Plants vs. Zombies Fusion installation. Yeah. And if you want to, you can make a new folder, just like custom plant bundles. I'm actually going to do this, yeah, custom plant bundles. And I'm just going to put both of these inside here, right? Actually, I'm going to put underscores to make sure that there's no issue. Because I know that when you have spaces in folders, it kind of gets tricky. So I'm just going to put underscores, so custom plant bundles. And that is the entirety for the asset part done, right? So what we did was we went in, we remade the prefabs for each of these, and we added whatever we wanted in. We compiled those or built them with the asset bundle browser. And now we're going to get into actually coding the mechanics of the plans. Alright, so what I've done is I've made a new project, same class library thing. If you don't remember how to make a project, you can either use the project we were using before or watch my first part. But I just made a new one, and I'm just going to add all the dependencies. So I'm going to go to Unity Fusion English. And this is a bit different. I'm going to add a new one in this, but for the first part, it's just going to be the same as the first part. So assembly, C#, this file. We're going to need asset bundle module. This is new. Same core module, same Unity engine, and same input module, your input legacy module, right? And I believe that's all we need for this folder. And then we're also going to need to go to Net6, Harmony, Runtime, Melon Loader, add these. And the last thing that we need is we're going to go back into the mods folder, and we're going to get this customized lib file, right? We're going to use this, and we're just going to click OK, let everything load in. And now we can set this up normally, so I'm going to do using Unity engine, using Melon Loader, using Harmony, lib, using IL2 CPP. And the new one that we're going to add in is using customize lib, right? So, again, this is just going to be a Melon mod. And to make sure that this loads in, I'm going to do public override void on initialize null. And I'll do logger.message custom plants mod loader, right? So that's the basis for our mod. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add two new files, and these files are gonna contain the code for our plants, right? Our custom plants. So I'm gonna go up to the top. I'm gonna click project, add class. Just make sure that this is class, and I'm gonna name this hyperp.cs. So yeah, we have this. I'm gonna make this public class. And then I'm also gonna add another class for our sunflower, so super sunflower.cs. So yeah. And we can add these same things in here. Right. So now, in our main file, we're going to have to make the game load in the asset bundles, right? So the way that we can do that is by using a asset bundle request, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create an asset bundle create request, right? And I'll just call this asset bundle create request. right? And we're going to do asset bundle dot load from file asynchronous or async, and we're just going to get the folder that we put our files in, right? So it's in the mods folder, and then we're going to go into custom plant bundles. Hold on, I should put this on here. Mod slash custom plant bundles. And I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to make this the hyper-p bundle request. So then I'll type in hyper-p, because that was the file name. And then I'm just going to do the same for super sunflower, right? So super sunflower. Just this time it's going to be super sunflower, right? So just make sure that these line up with the same path and these line up with the same file names. And now what we're going to do is we're going to check if either of these are null, right? So if hyper-p bundle request is null, I'm going to type null logger.message. This isn't required, by the way. This is just to make sure that the game loads them in. Usually they'll load them in, but I like to, this is something that I saw from like the other codes of like custom plants, which is how I learned this, that they'd like check for like these like sort of null things just to make sure that the game is loading everything in. So I'll just do missing hyper-p bundle, and then I'll do if super sunflower request bundle equals null. Do the same thing, right? Like melon logger message missing super sunflower bundle, right? So I'm actually gonna make this else if actually no, I'll just do this, right? So else, right? So once we know that it's not null, because if we check if it's null and that's not true, or if it's not null, then we can go into this else statement. And now we're going to basically register all of the prefab files, and then we're going to register a custom plant using the customize lib library, right? So I'm just gonna make game object prefab, or prefab object, and I'll make this null for now. Game object preview object equals null, right? So remember we had the prefab thing, and then we had the preview thing, and both of these we need. These are just like, those are like the highest things that include everything else. So I'll do a for each unity engine dot object. I'll just put obj in hyper-p bundle request dot asset bundle dot load all assets. So make sure that we're looping through this load all assets thing. And then I don't know why that's not okay, right? This is what I meant by there's a lot more code involved, or like a lot more C# involved, because we're gonna have to know like a lot of different things. And then I'll make a new game object, and I'll call this like test object equals obj dot try cast, right? So basically what it's going to do is it's going to try to make every object in here a game object. And if it's not null, so if test obj is not equal null, we're going to check the name of the game object, and then we're going to see if that's like our prefab, right? So if game object dot, game object, or test object dot name is equal to go back here and look for the name. You can change the names of these. I should have changed them, but you don't have to change them. I'm just going to use the original names. So shooter prefab, I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Make sure the capitalization is all correct as well. Shooter prefab then what we're gonna do is we're gonna make prefab object equal to the current test object, right? Yeah. I believe so. Yeah, and then actually, we have to make sure that we cast this as a game object as well, because this is just like checking if like we can actually cast it, right? And now we have to actually cast it. And I'm gonna leave this as is now, and we're just gonna move on to the else if we're gonna move on to the case where we have the what do you call it, the preview. We're gonna come back to this, but for now we're just gonna do this. So shooter preview, I believe it's called. Yeah, or the capital S. So shooter preview, and we're gonna make this preview obj is equal to this, right? So now that we've loaded in both of these objects, what we can do is now we can register our custom plant, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check that if both of these are both not null, right? So if prefab obj does not equal to null, and preview obj does not equal to null, what we're going to do is we're going to do custom core dot, this is the customize lib thing, custom core dot register custom plant, right? Now we're going to need a type that we're going to use as like a basis for our plant. So I'm going to use dnspy to find one. So I'll just let dnspy open. Yeah, so I have this open. So I want to make a custom pshooter, right? So I'm going to go to where pshooter is. And I'm not going to use exactly pshooter. I'm going to use what pshooter actually is, right? So like a shooter. So I'm going to use the shooter type. So shooter. And then I'm going to need a new type that we're going to like use over that. So for this one, I'm going to use hyper-p because that's what this class is called. This is why we made this. We're going to make this into a we're gonna have all the code for our plant right here, but this is like our type, right? So hyper-p, and we're gonna go through and we're going to register this plant with all of these inputs, right? So firstly, the ID, I'll do 960 because I know that's an empty ID. I'm just gonna start at 960. You can check like a list of plant IDs in like the Plants vs Zombies Fusion Discord server. In the game guides channel, there is a I'll actually show it right here, right? So, right here in the game guides channel, there is a PvZ Fusion IDs thing, and there's a lot of lists here, right? So, and right here we have plant IDs. So I know that 960 is an empty ID, so I'm going to use that. And so the next argument is going to be prefab. So that's going to be the prefab object. So I'll do this. Okay, there we go. The next one is going to be our preview object. So preview object, right? And now here we're going to have to make what we're going to make, or we're going to have to code what fusions, or like what we fuse to make the plant, right? So for this, I'm going to fuse just regular pea shooter with like the, I think it's called Frost Burnt Jalapeno. It's just the one where you combine the ice cream and jalapeno. So I'll do list. I'll do new list int kind, I think, or I have to do this, right? Yeah. And then I'll make this. So the first one is going to be 0, comma, and then I'll get the ID for this. So I'm actually going to have to download this. Alright, so I'm just going to go down here. And Frostburnt Jalapeno is, where is it? I'm just going to search for Frostburnt Jalapeno, right? 1,173, right? So I'm going to use that. And I'm also going to do the opposite one, so 1730. So I think that should be all. Let me just make sure on my, oh wait, I forgot to do something. we should make this a new value. People int, comma int. Just to make sure that this registers correctly. So do this for both of these. Now that is going to be that's going to be the argument for fusions, and now we're going to do attack interval. So for this, I'm going to do something simple like 1.5 f, where like 1.5 f, so every 1.5 seconds it'll shoot. The produce interval, since this isn't like a sun producer, I'm just going to do 0f. Attack damage, I'm just going to do a simple like 20. Max health, I'll do 300, because I think that's like a default. Cooldown, I'll do 7.5 seconds. And then the sun cost, we'll just make it 300, right? So let me make sure that this is correct. It is giving me an error. Oh, I think I know why. These both have to be mono behaviors, so let me make sure I'm getting that right. And we also have to make sure that these are register types, so register type and IL2.cpp. Or, I don't know why I said dot, but yeah. So we have to make sure that these look like this. I forgot this step. So yeah, we're gonna do this for the Super Sunflower as well. Mono behavior. So yeah, so make sure these look both like this, and then we can go back here. Yeah, okay. So now that we've set up our, we've registered our custom plant, I'm basically just going to do the same thing for the sunflower, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste this over and just rename everything with the sunflower. So else, yeah, right? And then this is going to be super sunflower bundle request. And now we're just going to change like the names for the sunflower. So I'll go through and do that. So for sunflower prefab, and then sunflower studio, I believe. Yeah. And then for this one, I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna grab the sunflower ID, which I believe should just be 1, right? Yeah, 1. And I'm just gonna keep it as the same Frostburn jalapeno. And then I have to also change the plant ID, so I'm just gonna do 961. So once we've done that, now I'm just going to go back and change these. So obviously the attack interval is going to be 0. It's not going to attack at all. Produce interval, I'll do every... Since I want to make this do it like kind of fast, I'll do it as like every 3 seconds, right? Attack damage, obviously none. You can look at what each of these mean by just hovering over this. Attack interval, produce interval, attack damage, max health, I'll keep us 300. Cooldown 7.5, yeah. So we'll just keep everything like this. So this should be it for actually loading in all the asset bundles and registering our custom plants, right? Now we can go in and actually make the code for our plants, right? So, oh, I also forgot something here. This shouldn't be shooter. This should be, we should check for what sunflower is. Glad I caught this so that I can just record it all in one take. Where is sunflower? I'm looking in the completely wrong place, aren't I? Or no, it's right. Yeah, it's right here. Sunflower, producer, right? So we're gonna do producer, and then super sunflower, right? So bam. So yeah, that should be it for this. And now we can go in actually coding our plants. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're actually going to we're gonna actually make this into the class that we want to use, right? So, or the type that we want to use, right? So remember in our main file we made this a shooter, right? So we're gonna do public shooter plant. I'll just make it plant, right? And we'll make a get function, and we'll do return base dot game object dot get component shooter, right? So that's that for that. And that's just to make sure that the game knows it's like a shooter. And then what I want to do is I'm actually going to make some code for the bullet, right? So I'm gonna make this so that the pea shooter shoots the closer a zombie is. So I've made code for calculating how close a zombie is. If you want, you can copy this code. I'm not gonna put it in the description, but if you want to use like this code, go for it. But yeah, so I've made this function that basically calculates how quick a zombie is, or like how far the closest zombie is. And I've also made this function that recreates the shooting function, right? So animation or anim shoot, right? So normally you wouldn't have this line, and you just have this, right? And then this bullet, I'm just gonna set it to 0, just for a regular P. But if you wanted to just make a regular animation shoot function, this is another thing. If you want to make custom plants, you're gonna have to recreate like a function for each of these. Sometimes you can just use the original functions and then like patch them. But for this case, we're just gonna make a custom function because in that case we can do stuff like this. So yeah, right. So yeah, so public bullet animation shoot. And then this is just code, so you can copy this if you want. Again, if you want to just make it shoot normally, you can just do this. This is normal, like anything. But for our case, I'm gonna do this because then it'll make it shoot a P faster as like a zombie comes closer, right? So what we did was we made it return like what it actually is. So we're gonna be using a shooter. And then I just coded like an animation, the anim shoot function, so that the plant actually shoots, right? So now we're gonna do the same, but with the super sunflower, right? So remember, this one was a producer, right? Producer plant. I'll do get return base dot game object dot component producer, right? And there should be a thing right here at the end. So yeah. Believe, and then one last right? So now I'm gonna take a bit of time to recreate a function for, or actually I think I'm gonna use the patch example for this one. So just give me a second to get that all prepared. Alright, so while I was setting up the patch, I forgot one crucial step. So for each of these, we have to make sure that we with the game object actually has the attributes that we want it to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do first we're going to set the plant type of each of these. So we're going to do plant type. I'll just call this hyper p type equals plant type, and then the ID we are going to use is 960, and then I'm going to do prefab.obj or prefab.obj dot add component, and since we want to use shooter, we're going to add a shooter, and then we're going to do dot the plant type equals hyper type, right? And we're also going to do the same for our sunflower. So again, this time we're just going to do super sunflower type equal to 961, and instead of shooter, it's producer, right? So yeah, and then I'm gonna finish up doing the patch. I just wanted to add this in because this is kind of important. Alright, so I set up a patch for this that checks if the producer type, or the plant type, is our super sunflower, and then I just made some code that makes it so that it produces 3 times. So I just modified the produce sun of the producer type, produce sun function, and I just coded a bit of this. I just checked if the plant type was the plant type that we're using. So yeah, this shouldn't be too hard to do. Again, I'm not gonna teach you how to code like every little thing, but this should give you an idea. Like, you can patch a function of like what you were trying to edit, and then just check if it's like your custom plant type, and do whatever you want with that, right? So I'm pretty sure that's everything for the coding part done. So I'm gonna build this, and then I'll put it in game and show you guys what happens. Another very stupid thing that I did is also like crucial. Forgot to add this, the assembly info. Yeah, that's just it. Alright, so now that we are in game, I'm gonna try to fuse our... Okay, that was didn't mean for that to happen, but I'm gonna try to fuse our plants, and we can see we have our pea shooter here, and you can see that it has like the little particles and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna just put him right here, and you'll see that he just like shoots faster up here, but if I put him back here, he shoots a bit slower. Then if I put him like all the way up close, start shooting really fast, right? So yeah, so that's a pea shooter. I believe my sunflower is a bit bugged, so I'm gonna modify the code a little bit, and we'll see. Like, actually, does it work right now? Let's see. Just gotta give it a second. Yeah, it crashes. So I'll modify the code a little bit, and I'll see what happens. Alright, so I did end up modifying the code just a little bit. It's not exactly what I wanted to do. I just made it so that it just produces sun really fast. So yeah, as you can see, it's just producing more and more sun. And as you can see, if I try to fuse this, it works very well, right? So yeah, hopefully this was so I think this will be the end of the tutorial. Hopefully this was a bit clearer. So what we went through was how to recreate the asset bundles in Unity. I'm just gonna pause this. We went through how to recreate the asset bundles in Unity. We learned how to load them, and then we wrote some code to you know, change the functions of these guys. You know, do more. We did like a patch method, and then we did like an actual function inside of here. But yeah, if you guys want a part, like sort of like a subpart to this, where I do like a bit more examples, I'll be up for that. But for now, I hope this provides like sort of a baseline understanding of how to do custom plants. I think that this tutorial may have been a bit unclear, but hopefully it was clear enough so that you're able to make your own custom plants, and you know, like work on more stuff like related to making like more mods for this game, right? So yeah. That's gonna be the tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you want part 4 to be more like zombie focused, because I think we are focusing a lot on the plants, but I feel like we could do stuff with zombies as well. I'm up for that. If you guys want more examples on this, I'll be willing to do that. But yeah, hopefully this tutorial was a good start for how to make custom plants. Thank you for watching. Again, any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Alright, goodbye.